All right, we're moving on here to the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Bills are 7-point favorites in this one at home against the Patriots. 42.5 is the total. Again, Bills could be in a situation where they already know that the Chiefs have locked up the number one seed. That being said, you could not keep these guys off the field for anything in this game, at least not for a while, right? I mean, like, this is not going to be a scenario in which we're worried about whether the starters are going to play or not play or anything like that. I mean, you couldn't keep these guys off the field if you tried. Word coming through as we're sitting here recording this that the breathing tube was removed from Damar Hamlin last night. He's actually was FaceTiming with players and things like that today. So
awesome.
Has all that going on. And so we are going to get a jacked up version of this Bills team. There's no doubt about that. So guys, where that put me on this is I wasn't willing to lay the full 7. I did tease this down to a point. I have them paired up with a team later on in the pod that we will talk about that is also sitting in that very teasable range still as we sit right now. So that was kind of my angle here. I'm really asking the Bills starters who are likely going to play, like I said, definitely 3 quarters in this thing, maybe a little bit more to get me a win by a point. Steven, what do you see here in this one?
Well, the Bills need the game because if they don't win, then they do have to go to Kansas City to play in the potential AFC Championship game if we're assuming the Chiefs win. If the Bills win this game, then it ensures that a potential AFC Championship game is at least on a neutral field against the Chiefs.
Which we will find out at some point later today as we're recording this, which is why we can run through all that. The owners are voting on that at some point as to what scenario. Yes. So we don't have the full details on that quite yet.
If approved, that's the scenario, though. So, and there is no backup scenario at the moment. So that's what I'm operating on. I can't imagine the owners would not approve this. The majority of owners would not approve this. So I'm operating under the assumption as we record right now that the Bills need to win to ensure a neutral field AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. This line was 10 on the look ahead. It's now 7. I think that if you look at the recent matchups between these two rosters, and there's a lot of carryover from the past 2 years, the only time the Patriots have even been competitive against the Buffalo Bills was that crazy wind game where the Bills literally couldn't throw the ball and the Patriots mucked it up and only threw it 3 times themselves. So I think a teaser leg is a great spot here, Matt, if you look at the matchup between these two teams. I have no interest in trying to figure out motivation or emotions and all that. Like I'm just going to bet the game. I'm just happy Damar Hamlin's okay. And I think that this is a mismatch any way you slice it with Buffalo against New England. And I think the teaser leg's a great look here by you.
Yeah, Adam, when we take a look here, I mean, this is an important game for the Patriots, who again are clinging to their playoff hopes as well. So I don't want to just make it look like this is only one way motivation. Right. Certainly the Patriots are playing to try to get into the playoffs as well in this thing. But I don't think, listen, I think we've been very honest about this Patriots team on the podcast over 18 weeks of recording this thing. I think that we look and we say it's a very fair thing to say that this is just a average to mediocre NFL team, right? They don't do anything exceptionally well on the offensive side of the ball. As we found out, when they play high-powered offenses, the defensive numbers that they compiled over the course of the season don't really bear out because the high-powered offenses have been able to score against this defense. And I think it's just kind of a middling team against a team that we all have in the top 3 of our power ratings.
The word that comes to mind, Adam, is
So when I look at the New England Patriots, I see a team to the point that Matt just made where the defense can't get left on the field all day. And that's the problem when you face these high-powered offenses is that you have teams that are able to expose that. Now, when you talk about the Buffalo Bills this week, just to get the betting piece in there, the teaser leg makes all the sense in the world because there is still motivation for the Bills. I'll only add this much to it. They also need the game for practical reasons because they didn't play last week, right? Like they played a quarter. And so if you don't put the starters out there for a significant length of time, then you're essentially talking about 2 to 3 full weeks with these guys not having gotten a real run out there. So like you said, Matt, a half at minimum, 3/4 almost for sure, and it wouldn't shock me if it were a full game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do. I like a teaser leg angle there. I mean, just asking these guys to win, I think is a pretty solid bet in that one. And again, there are now, as these lines start to take shape here, some dance partners if you did want to play that teaser leg.